Hello and welcome. I am Scrubberlock, and this is City of Heroes soloing the Stalker for level 42 with Dark Phantom now. She has 2 million XP to go to get to level 43 in our next superpower. We just hit level 42, and I finally got a story arc from Janet Kellum. This is one that I don't remember, called On the Run. I assume I've done this before because I've worked with Janet Kellum before, but I don't remember a story arc named On the Run, so this will be interesting. Before we go in, let's just take a look at where we are. I've done our enhancements for level 45. We've replaced most of our enhancements now with the inventions. The only ones we don't have are the ones that haven't dropped. I got a drop of an endurance mod just recently. So we're missing 2 of those. We're missing some jumps and 1 defense and a damage. And that's about it. I triple slotted Shadow Punch, so we're done with all of our attacks now. They're all 6 slotted. The primary is basically done at this point. Not sure what I'm going to get. I guess I'll get the Physical Perfection or whatever it is at the next level for level 43, and then that's going to need to be slotted. So that'll be probably at least some of the slots we use in 44 and 45. Sorry, wait a minute. 43 is not. Is 43 not a new power? No. 41 was a new power, right? So 42 and 43, 44 is a new power. So we'll get some slots next level, and then we'll get the new power, and then 45 and 46 we'll be slotting that one up. So this is defeat all, so we got to get everybody. And as we go, there's a couple things I want to talk about. Oh, my hide isn't on. That's because I was escorting an NPC. Okay, all right, let's placate. So a couple things I want to talk about. I do want to talk about placate. Because a question came up in the help, which obviously isn't recorded here because that was the last time I was playing. And then I want to talk about a couple of other things, but the first thing I want to mention is that, let me check the name, hang on, Pirate Princess Yuki, a day ago as of this recording, although it's probably been about a month since I recorded it before I post, so this is at the very end of January, said that Jack Emmert, former CEO, head of Cryptic Studios, and the lead dev behind this game, who then took over, then moved over when Cryptic Studios went to do Champions Online and eventually Star Trek Online and Neverwinter Online or whatever it's called, which was basically putting Neverwinter Nights as an online kind of persistent world MMO type game. He is back. Apparently, he is running Cryptic Studios again. And so those are the games they're using. I don't know all of the history. I know that Cryptic Studios obviously was spun off from NCSoft when they decided to make this other superhero game. And the developers who were running City of Heroes became Paragon Studios, and that became who was running this game, right? And Paragon Studios was sunset by NCSoft, and so was this game. Cryptic Studios continued with Star Trek Online and with Neverwinter. And at some point, they were purchased by a company called Perfect World, which then has been through several acquisition cycles and eventually was, I think, largely dismantled. And as a result, I think Cryptic Studios is on its own again now. And I guess maybe they want Statesman back because he knows how to run this company when it's on its own and not being, I keep overshooting or undershooting, not being run by a parent company. I don't know, but he's back, and one of the things he said was he's not here to just shepherd their twilight and sunset their servers. He wants to keep these games going, and he imagines great new things for Cryptic. So this guy's gonna annoy the crap out of me now being up there. So yeah, it's just kind of blast from the past kind of stuff. Just get around here so he'll come down. With Statesman, it's pretty cool. I'm going to placate you. I'm tired of this. And then we're going to assassinate you because you're annoying me. I still haven't recolored my eyes, my beams. Oh, this guy's a boss, that's why he's such a pain in the neck. I thought I was fighting a lieutenant. Not paying attention, too busy talking about Statesman. So anyway, Statesman's back. So love him or hate him, which some people did both at the same time. Statesman's back, and he's running the studio that controls Champions Online, Star Trek Online, and several other properties. So I think that's just an interesting bit of City of Heroes related news. And so thanks for posting that, Pirate Princess. That is really cool. I was not going to have noticed that myself. I haven't been paying a lot of attention to gaming news this week because of all of the winter weather we're getting in the Carolinas. And it's been mostly dealing with that and the fallout from it. We're having another big storm right now. There got to be 6 inches of snow out there. I already went out and shoveled twice, and it looks like I never did it. And I don't know how long I'm going to be snowed in because there's no indication they're going to plow my development at all. And then if they do plow my development, they're probably going to plow me in. And having gone out there with the white powder and just sort of scraped stuff off, which usually is not too hard to do, that's about, well, that's more than my Achilles tendon should have done. So I'm not going out anymore. And I don't know if maybe I can get somebody from work to pick me up if we go back in person and I can't get out. We'll have to see what happens. But I did make sure yesterday, after running my last class on Zoom, it was still relatively warm out. It was mid-30s. The storm wasn't set to come in for another 12, 15 hours. And I went out to the supermarket and just bought a bunch of stuff for the duration. So I should be okay, at least with food. Power's on, obviously, or I wouldn't be filming this. If the power goes off, then obviously I'll have less food because some of the stuff is perishable. But I also have lots of non-perishable food. I won't starve. I might get bored eating the same few things over and over again, but I won't starve. Anyway, because I've had to deal with that and deal with putting my classes online for the last couple of days and everything, I haven't been paying any attention really to video gaming news. There have been several things that have happened in video games that have been interesting, and I'm just, not even caught up to it yet. So I won't be talking about any of that here, but mostly because I haven't caught up to it, and also because not all of it's relevant. And let me be perfectly blunt. I talk about irrelevant stuff that has nothing to do with City of Heroes all the time on this channel. The reason I won't be talking about it is because it is, shall we say, politically divisive. And I try to avoid talking about that stuff on this channel. Speaking of which, I have a great audience. I love all of you guys, and I'm really pleased with our channel. That not what I do with it, but what you guys have done with it, which is to create a wonderful discussion in the comments. It's just a couple of comments per video. It's fine. Quality over quantity. I don't need 100 comments. I just want a few good ones, and you guys always provide. Like Pirate Princess telling us about Jack Emmert. No judgment, no snarking about Emmert or anything. Just, hey, blast from the past. Emmert is now back in charge of Cryptic, which I was, it's really interesting because as I was rewatching the video where I talked about Emmert, Statesman, I thought, I wonder what he's doing now. Is he still in gaming? Is he switched to running, like a regular software company that doesn't do games? Is he totally out of the biz? And the article that I read about him taking back over, which I found after Pirate Princess Yuki posted it, didn't say what he's been doing for the last, 20 years or 15 years or however long it's been since he left Cryptic. I did see a picture of him and thought, man, he got old. And I thought, well, so did I, because the last time I saw Jack Emmert, he was probably, 30 or something. And, he's probably about my age. And, I was 30 back then, too. So, actually, he looks pretty good for his age. And better than I do for my age, so I'll give him that. Anyway, what I love about my comment section is there's really no political arguing. There's no complaining about the sorts of stuff that a lot of the game channels complain about, which have to do with basically the politics of gaming. And I try to avoid that. And I have been there are several commenters over the years who've actually said they appreciate that we're just talking games here, and we're not going to really talk, to the extent that I can avoid it, we're not going to really talk politics. And yeah, I try to keep it that way because I really don't want politics to get in. I don't want us to get involved in politics. It's just there's no good outcome to that. It's just going to divide the channel, right? No matter what. And the interesting and ironic and very curious thing to me, as anyone who watches this channel knows, I do not pay attention to the stats. I mean, I vaguely look at them. I am a stats person. I'm a gamer. Gamers like numbers. There's actually was a video that I just saw. I need to watch it. It's a war gamer, but it's like why gamers like lists, or something like that. And I really want to watch it. It's by a gamer, right? And he's talking about why do we like lists and spreadsheets and things like that. And we do. So I pay attention to the numbers in that sense. They entertain me a little bit. But I've never been trying to get sub count to go up, watch count to go up, click count to go up, likes to go up, right? I don't say to you guys like and subscribe the way other channels creators do. If you want to like, great. I will appreciate every like that I get. I get a few on videos, 5, 6, 8, rarely double digits. So every once in a while I will get one double digits and go, oh, that's neat, and maybe a handful of videos on my entire channel are like that. Most of the time I just get a handful of likes and 1 or 2 comments, and that's fine, right? That's about the pace of this channel, and I'm perfectly okay with it. And I don't ever try to, goose the numbers or anything like that. It's just not why I do this. I do this entirely for my own entertainment and hopefully the entertainment of the handful of people who watch. And I'm perfectly happy with a small audience that enjoys watching. It's fine. But I do every once in a while notice when something unusual happens. And I think it was really, I found it super ironic and interesting that most of my videos are 100% likes and a small number, 7 or something. But recently, I've had 1 or 2 videos that have gotten a dislike. Usually just 1. It's not like I get a bunch. It's not getting ratioed, as they call it, or anything like that. And whatever, if somebody wants to dislike a video, that's fine. But I find it interesting which ones get the dislikes. Right? If you remember, I made a comment on Luke Hart's channel, and I talked about this, how I made a comment on his channel when he was talking about politics and gaming, and he almost got ratioed on his video, which was just telling people to keep politics out of gaming, right? That it never, oh, these guys, there's no good that will come of it, right? And he got a bunch of dislikes for saying keep the politics out of gaming, right? There was a bunch of flaming, there was a bunch of arguing. He didn't even take a position. He just said it's better not to take positions, and he got flamed for not taking a position. So I made a comment that said, the backlash on this channel over him saying don't take a position is a perfect example of why you need to keep the politics out of gaming. And I got more likes than dislikes, but I actually got dislikes for saying that, right? And one of the very few videos that I have on my channel that has a dislike on it is the video where I talk about that on this channel. And again say, keep the politics out of gaming. There's no good that's going to come of it. And so it's just really interesting that the videos that get the... Oh, are you kidding me with this? Even with Placate running. The videos that are getting the only dislikes are the ones that are neutral and let's all try to be friends. And somebody dislikes that. But all the stuff that I do that's potentially more controversial about liking games, disliking games, build guides, whatever, that might rub people the wrong way, those don't get any dislikes. And the other one, and I think this is absolutely hilarious, the other one that I have a dislike on is, can we hit? No. 14% chance to hit. So we're just going to wait. There's no point to attacking them when you have a 14% chance. The other video that has a dislike on it, and again, I think it's hilarious that it does, is the video that's about comfort games and how COH is a comfort game for me, and how comfort games are just fun little games that you know, the games that you play that are your happy place, right? And how COH is my happy place, and what's your happy place? And somebody put a dislike on that. I don't care. Put as many dislikes as you want. It doesn't bother me. I just find it curious that two of the videos that are the most, say, neutral and the least potentially objectionable statements are the ones that get the dislikes. And then the ones where I might be a little controversial are the ones that don't get any dislikes. I think it's just really interesting. These folks don't generally say why. There's no comment in the comment section that says, I didn't like the way you did the build, or whatever the problem is in that video. So I have no idea what the dislikes are from. But I just find it really interesting. I'm not going anywhere near Paragon Protectors. I just find it really interesting that the most innocuous videos are the ones that get the dislikes. And Luke had the same thing happen to him, which is really funny. I don't know, irony, whatever you want to call it. And why am I doing this? Because I had a mission, I think it was yesterday, that I couldn't finish. There was a bug. And so I had to autocomplete it. And so, yeah, I guess I'm stuck fighting 20 Cray and probably 20 more, and then 20 more after that, and so on and so forth. The other thing I wanted to talk about is Placate and builds. So, obviously, this goes in the category, oh, this is an ambush. The category of, I guess people play very differently from how I play. Well, I know they do. And they only care about set bonuses, and they don't care about what you put in your build. So, Placate. Awesome power. Somebody even said in one of my videos before I had taken Placate, you need to take Placate. Absolutely. Placate is an awesome power. So on the help channel, somebody made a post and said, I'm a stalker. I'm new to being a stalker. Is Placate even worth taking? Like, no, I think he said I played a stalker a few times. I've never taken Placate. Does anybody use it? Is it even worth taking? I can never, quote unquote, fit it into my build. And like as he was writing that, I was using Placate on a boss. So I said I've got it. I always take it on a stalker. I use it all the time. I think it's a must-have. I love it. And so then, somebody said it's great for use when you when you're fighting a boss and maybe you miss one of your big hits, and so you want to hit him again with Assassin Strike. I said it works great on EBs. Several people gave me a thumbs up on that. But then several other people got on and said, nah, you don't need it because the ATO sets, right, are, I guess one of the ATO sets, it's proc, it triggers a Placate. Now to me, unless it's going to 100% trigger that Placate, I have no interest in that because it's not a guarantee. This thing works every time I trigger it. Right, when I want. If you're going to say, well, I put it on my Assassin Strike so that if it doesn't defeat them, it automatically placates, and then I can do an Assassin Strike again. If it triggers every time, I don't know if it does. If it triggers every time, then maybe. But even there, okay, when are you going to slot your ATOs? When are you going to have all 6 slots in here and slotted? Is it going to be at a low level? Or are we talking about, well, you'll have that when you're level 40? Because one of my big complaints about builds and what people are suggesting is all endgame builds, right? What are you doing in the meantime while you're level 25? Because I was using Placate from like level 16. right? And it came in very handy at that level. It might be for some powers that you're going to outgrow the power, and it works better at low level than high level, but that doesn't mean it's a useless power. And sometimes it can still be useful later on. So, I don't know. So they were talking about their build and fitting it into their build, and I said, well, then take what I said with a grain of salt because I don't do quote-unquote builds. Nobody asked what that meant. My guess is that statement almost was like me typing in French or German or something. Because everybody who plays City of Heroes does builds. What are you talking about? Of course, you do builds. And no, I don't really do. Not with sets. I don't worry about set bonuses, right? I just play the game in a way that's fun for me. I do want to say, guys, this will not be an hour-long session. I'm having I feel like I got tennis elbow or something in my elbow, and I don't know if it's from gaming too much and using my mouse hand too much because it's my right elbow, or if I hurt it in some other way. It wasn't. I didn't hurt it shoveling. It was hurting before that, although shoveling didn't do me any good. I've had a heating pan on it and stuff, and it's starting to bother me. So we probably won't go past maybe 30-40 minutes. So maybe this one mission, and then we'll stop. You can see how we're playing at level 42, which is quite nice. So yeah, it was really interesting how they're working on, if the set will let you do it, don't take the power kind of thing. He's like, I can't fit it into my build, and I'm thinking, why not? I've got every power except Touch of Fear, every secondary, every primary except Touch of Fear, and a bunch of these guys. So I don't know why you wouldn't be able to fit Placate into your build. So I don't know. And then they were talking about some other power to take instead of Placate. I can't remember which one now. It's one of the pool powers. But I don't do +4 times 8, so I don't need a quote-unquote build to do this, right? In the sense that other people are describing a build, which is, all these set bonuses and procs and all the other stuff that they care about so much. So I don't know, in retrospect, maybe I shouldn't have even given any advice, but it didn't occur to me. Why wouldn't you take Placate? It's great to just have in case you need it as a panic power. I always remember Nina, the head of my supergroup, who was a build munchkin or whatever you want to call it, and was always doing these Uber builds for helping people do Uber builds and stuff. And we were talking about super reflexes or something like that. I'm sure I was talking to somebody who said super reflexes sucks. And I was like, it's fine, I love it. In fact, I love elude. Oh my gosh, how can you take elude? Elude, there's an endurance crash. I'm like, it's manageable. And I said, when I over aggro or make a mistake, and Nina said, elude is a great panic power. She said it's a great oh crap power. Right, a panic power. And the general consensus on the channel was, if you know what you're doing, you don't ever need a panic power. And I will give Nina this, because she knows what she's doing on builds and stuff. She said, everybody should have a panic power. Because there are going to be times when something happens that you're not ready for. And if you don't have a panic power, you're basically going to faceplant. And I think Placate is, a pretty good panic power. Along with Overload. These guys hit a lot despite my defense. They're very accurate. What chance did they have to hit? I'm debuffing them by 30%. They were +2. So they have a little bit of buff to hit me. He had a 20% chance to hit, so like he really isn't that accurate. He's just getting lucky. I mean, 20% is about what you'd expect. 50 minus 20. So I don't know. Doorway. Say if you have a scrapper, you haven't commented about this yet, comment down below. Do you always take placate? One of the things I said, and one person said that's a good point, is I said placate works fine out of the box. You don't need to slot it, which allows me to put slots on other powers. Like I like having powers that I don't have to slot because I can't put slots on every power. You can't. You're gonna have to have some powers that go bare and have one slot or two slots, and you just don't have the slots to 5 or 6 slot them, right? And those powers, sets don't do you any good if you only have one slot, because the set bonuses don't kick in until you have at least 2 powers. I also want to point out, somebody mentioned in the comments, and I did answer in the comments, but I'll point out, I'll say it here too. Some sets are quite good, have some nice bonuses by the 3rd or 4th enhancement, so you don't always need 5 or 6 slots in order to make it worthwhile taking the set. That is absolutely true. However, I don't know if we're going to have any here that I could show as an example. Yeah, so this one, Touch of the Nyctus, is one where 3 or 4 of them would get me what I want, right? The last 2 are, well, the last one's pretty good. I'm not trying to stack resistance, so the last one is just a bonus. But a lot of the ones that I want are like this one, where what I'm really looking for here isn't regeneration, endurance, or health so much as plus 9% to all my accuracy, which will help me against plus 2s and plus 3s, and 7.5% recharge reduction. That's what I want. So if I want those, then I'm going to need all 6 slots, right? Because 3 or 4 isn't going to get me there. And it's not true for all sets, but for a lot of the sets that I am interested in, the recharge and accuracy are like that. They come in at the end, in the last couple powers. And what they give you in the first couple of bonuses isn't really what I'm looking for. It's fine to have as a nice bonus, but it's not what I'm after, right? And so that's why for a lot of the enhancement sets I use, I kind of need them to be 6 slotted or at least 5 slotted. Okay. So yeah, that's a lot to talk about today. We talked about Jack Emmert. We talked about likes, dislikes on videos. We talked about builds. We talked about placate. Where's the hostage? Oh no, we're just rescuing. Yeah, we're rescuing Night Fox. Seriously, I wasn't hidden. Okay, well let's rectify that and hide. I need to watch this more. There we go. I feel like the infiltrators are more likely to damage you and hit than the field agents. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I just feel like vigilance and infiltrators at this level, a couple of levels above you, are more likely to cause trouble than the field agents. Because if I keep missing, then they all cause trouble. Okay. So I don't know how you guys feel this character's performing, but I'm actually really happy with it. Oh, and by the way, it was, I think, just under 300,000, 275 or so, to upgrade the single origins after we hit level 42, and I put the other invention, IO inventions on there. I'm guessing Fox is going to be here. This is usually the final room, but maybe not. Usually there's a hostage over here, but apparently not. Okay, well, let's rescue the Fox. That's our priority. That's our main objective. More elevators. Okay, my guess is she's going to be on the next level then. But we will check this one out. Now, if we have to rescue her, we might have to lead her out, so I'm going to make sure that the way is clear. Man, this character deals so much damage. I love it. Yeah, I triple damage enhanced the Shadow Punch, which doesn't do a lot of damage, but even just doing that, I noticed, I was expecting a couple times when I punched with it for there to be a sliver left, and it was just taking guys out, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, it's been enhanced, right? I've damage enhanced it. So all of our powers are doing pretty much max damage now, which is good. This character, I've played Stalkers before. Claws Regen, Ninja Blade Ninjutsu is very awesome. And what else? I think Dual Blades Willpower and Psi Willpower. I think this may be my favorite Stalker. I love Dark, and I really love Energy Aura. So I'm really enjoying this. Now we're in the 40s. We're not going to stop this character right away, but eventually this character will be finished, and I need to think about what I want to do next. And what I'm toying with, since I almost never do ranged, but I do like this AT, what do you guys think about the possibility of me doing a what do you guys think about the possibility of me doing a Sentinel? If so, do you have any suggestions on cool Sentinel powers? I'm toying with Ice, at least as the primary, because I kind of like Ice, and I really never played around with it much. I did have a Fire Ice tanker, so I've done melee primary, melee secondary of Ice, but I've never done a primary of it. And it's a really cool set of powers and good visual effects and stuff, and I like the secondary that it slows the enemies. So I think for a ranged character it'll be really great for kiting and stuff if I need to do that. So yeah, I'm toying with that as a possibility, but there are lots of other cool possibilities as well. So let me know if there are particular power sets you'd like to see me do. I'm going to try to do something that's different effects from what I've already done. So no more Dark. We've done Dark a bunch of times. Dark Dominator, Dark Energy Aura Brute, now Dark Energy Aura Stalker. So we're not doing that. But we could certainly do lots of different power sets that I haven't done yet, and there's tons of them. I don't actually know all the power sets available to Sentinels. I'm assuming they get Ice. I think they get Sonic, don't they? Right? Sonic sound powers. That's another cool one. I think they get Psionics too. That's kind of cool, but I feel like I've done that before. So with the Psi Stalker, I'd like to try something I haven't done at all. So, so yeah, give me some suggestions, and hopefully by the time I post this, I won't be already done with the series and too late, you know. I feel like it's taking this hide power longer than it should to re-engage. Why is that? Wow, why am I running out of endurance so much? I guess because I'm just going non-stop. And I'm not taking the time to rehide. Oh, and I'm using focused accuracy too much. I really don't need it against these guys. Alright. Mission complete. Guys, my arm's bothering me, my elbow, so I think we're going to stop here. I hope you have enjoyed. I certainly have. I will continue. There's Crimson. I will continue working on this story arc as we go. I don't know that I'll film every single episode, every single mission, but I will continue to do that, and I'm going to go try and rest my arm a little bit so that it doesn't keep bothering me. And I do want to point out I have just gotten one of the day job badges, day trader, so now I'm going to be logging off in the vault, the bank vault, so that I can eventually get a banker or bank teller or whatever the badge is. And I'm going to slowly get all of the day job badges one at a time. So shopkeeper we have, caregiver, banker, right? So I need 70 more hours logged off in there. And chronologist, it's Ouroboros, so eventually we'll go there. But I feel like this one is the easiest, and then there's caregiver and shopkeeper. So we're going to do all of that. I'm going to do that off screen. I hope you guys have enjoyed. And until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes, soloing the Stalker.